Hey, come on. Come on. Hey. What? Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Hey. Let's chit chat, this is the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Hey. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Come on. Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, hey. Let's chit chat, sis. Hey, what's up? Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
Good evening, ladies. How is everybody doing?
Oh,
Good.
making it a 10, y'all. I'm making it a 10.
Making it a 10. You doing good, Chauncey? Well, I know you're doing the best you can do. You
I'm
look
the best.
good.
Then
If
what
she can do a 10, we can do a 10.
Yeah, we got to do a 10. I'll share Eric's video with you so you'll all know what we mean when we say we're making it a 10.
Do a 10. After that video, everybody should do a 10
Yes.
and never complain about anything. Do a
Yep.
10. Be
So I
thankful.
might struggle some days, but I wake up with joy in my heart. So even if I'm not all right, I will be all right.
Absolutely.
I know that's right.
That's sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I talk about y'all a lot just in the course of my day. I have I'm not gonna say a crazy day, but I encounter different people, from vendors and, contractors and different types of people. And I talk about you, Mel, with, dealing with COVID people. And, I talk about you, Chauncey, and what you just experienced with, Eric and, of course, Celeste. I talk about all the different things we encounter when we, the infancy of Let's Chit Chat Sis. So, you have a lot of things you can talk about, people that bring you experiences. But I just was talking about you today, Mel, because I ran into somebody who was like I guess I would say an anti-vaxxer, you know what I mean? And, it's kind of hard to, be neutral when you have your own stance. And I think this is going to go into our subject tonight of being unbothered, you know what I mean? Trying not to be bothered by what other people's opinion is or what they feel, because you got to keep your own peace. But this person was an anti-vaxxer, and they were just so passionate about what vaccinations do and how they can kill you and so on and so on. And I mean, we've been taking vaccinations when we didn't even have a choice, like as little people, in grade school. But I made one choice to them about COVID. I said that we know that COVID is airborne. They determined that it's airborne, and we know that it's going to make its course around, that it may touch everybody in some way, in some capacity. It may not kill you, but it's going to touch you. They know that it's airborne. It's going to touch you. Now, the way you to fight it off, it's going to be the way you fight it off. You may not fight it off with a vaccination. You may fight it off with your own immune system. But I don't think you should tell someone else. You see what I'm saying? That what they choose to do is wrong. And what your choice is just your choice. So it had me a little disturbed, but this made me come to think about how I appreciate each and every one of you, because y'all always bring some type of value to my life, because I think about what you guys do, and I'm always talking about something y'all say in the course of my day. But that was just me rambling on. But then I'm gonna get into the naughty thing about my question of the day. Okay. Do y'all believe in your heart? Now be honest. I want y'all to be honest, because we are seasoned women. Do you believe that a relationship can come back from cheating? And be honest.
I do.
I believe it. Not with me, but I believe it's.
What the hell, Celeste?
Not with me.
I've seen it happen, but
I believe it do. I believe it can too.
However,
Go ahead, because I want to hear the however, because we can say yes, but what's the however?
Well, multiple things for me. So one, I believe that a relationship can rebound from infidelity. So I do believe that can happen. The second thing is, I believe that relationships, marriages can rebound from infidelity more from a woman's perspective than from a man's perspective. I think that a woman is more forgiving in those situations than a man could be forgiving in those situations. So that's the second part.
Well, that's been the obvious thing, because men just don't want to think of another man's penis in your vagina.
Right, right. So that part. And then the third part is for me is that I know that we can rebound from infidelities because there's a whole lot of people out there that's rebounded from fidelities and don't even know that they rebounded from fidelity.
You right about that.
So that's my stance on it. So I look at it in those three perspectives, not saying that every woman can get over it or, forgive when it comes to infidelity. I'm sure scenarios and situations or serial infidelity, makes a huge difference,
Yeah.
but I think that it is possible. And, but I do believe that for women, we are more forgiving for it than a man could be. They just can't seem to get past it the way that we can.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I don't know why, but I think because what Mel say, but
No, definitely what Mel said, because I remember my husband said that to me one time, don't no man, whether it was in your past or whatever, even want to picture and think of their woman being with somebody else. So when you come with them, it's almost like you ain't got no past.
I'll be like, you want to see a picture here? Go, I got it in my phone.
No, but they want you to be a virgin. They want you to come virgin.
Oh, right, please, whatever. That's some BS.
I'm just telling you.
Where you learned that from? No, just playing.
You already know that's some crazy crap right there.
You already know.
Well, they'd be like, where you learn? You ain't do that before. How you know that?
Exactly.
Like, I read. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
They want you to pretend that when you open your leg and do certain little tricks that you don't know
They're the
those tricks.
first.
You're just there. It's the first time. It's like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
No, they want
That's
to.
why they always ask you whose is it?
Mine's because I have to wash it. Mine's. That's who it is. I have to wash it. It's mine. I got to take it to the gynecologist. It's mine. That's who it is.
Like, whose is it? The motherfucker before yours.
Oh, yeah, that's just some male hormones or something going on that I don't know. My husband is nothing like that. I guess he's so quiet in nature. He don't. I mean, maybe he's thinking it, but I don't know. You never ask, and I don't ask nothing about what he done did in the past. Just don't bring it to
Well,
the.
don't ask. If it
That's-
works,
that's what
if
we
it
said.
works, don't ask.
Yeah, but I agree with y'all. I think that you can get past I think you can get past anything if you not say anything, if you can talk it out and try to rebuild the trust,
Right.
because I think things happen, you know what I mean? Because I've been married a long time, and I think that all marriages go through the ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys, you know what I mean? If anybody tells you it's gonna be, smooth sailing, then somebody's lying. But I think you can get past anything. I really do.
Yeah.
So
You can, and I think, but it's a choice.
Mhm.
It's a choice that you decide whether you want to forgive or you don't want to forgive.
that's a good
There-
one.
There's no time frame on it, and so you have to deal with it in whatever way you feel necessary. However, I know, being that I was married before and
Mhm.
then I got married again, what I told my husband when he and I got married the second time, like, divorce is not an option.
Oh,
That doesn't give you carte blanche to do whatever it is you want to do. But I'm not going through divorce again. I'm not doing this again. So this one right here is blood in, blood out. So if we like the mafia, right? So
Oh,
you know what I mean? So that
Blood in,
means
blood out.
blood in, blood out. That means we gotta.
Chauncey's like, you're dead, motherfucker.
Listen, all I'm saying is anything can be worked out. Now, do that mean that we ain't gonna have our issues? Do that mean that you might be mad and sleeping in the other room, but I'm sleeping in this room? I don't have a problem with that.
Damn, the next time you see her husband, tell him to blink twice if he need help.
Do you need help, Billy?
Blink twice if she's hurting you. Blood in, blood out.
Billy,
I
got you now.
learned.
We got you.
Because I learned, right? That's how serious you have to be about it, right? So what does that mean? Again, that doesn't give you a free pass to do whatever it is that you want to do. It just means that I'm already willing to work through anything that comes through that door. And so that's just my mindset, right? So that's how I see it. So it can be worked out on either end. But now he might feel differently, so you can't keep nobody
All
from
her
leaving.
friends, no matter what, blood in or blood out. You understand?
I mean, you need to
She
patent
sound like
that.
the straight mafia.
You
Blood
need to
in, blood
patent that
out.
line. Yeah, I don't even think
Blood
no
in, blood out.
mafiosos got that line, Chauncey. You need to patent that one.
Listen,
Blood
because
in, the blood out.
but the thing is, people have showed you, right? People that are married for 60 and 75 years, and that don't mean that they didn't have ups and downs. It don't mean that they weren't separated. It don't mean any of that. But they
That's
made
true.
a choice and a commitment
Mhm.
that no matter what comes this way, we're gonna work this mess out.
Yeah, true that.
You know? Now, other than you laying your hands on me, and then in that instance, then you know
It's still blood.
It's
parents.
still blood in
so
and
you
blood
gonna see
out.
some physical blood.
There's still some blood.
Somebody gonna see some blood no matter
Real
You know
blood.
what?
It's gonna be blood in, blood out, right? So either
Ain't
way,
nothing wrong with a little left hook sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta straighten the jawline out.
now listen, y'all. You know, OJ messed it up for everybody. You
Do
can't be
not
sitting there no
listen
more, though.
to Kimmy, because
Y'all
Kimmy
better
is
listen
over
to
here
me.
on the bullshit. You better not listen to her.
Y'all better listen to me, huh?
Oh,
So
your
let's
ass
tell
in
them.
jail. She took my little
Celeste.
left ain't mess.
Yeah, if we,
Celeste.
I mean, if we have to fight a little bit,
Celeste, tell
I
them.
know. It better be a love tap.
Oh, hell no. You talking about the left and the right
Now we're
hook.
gonna tap, but she ain't talking about tapping. She
Hell
talking
no,
about
no
knocking
tapping.
motherfuckers
tapping
out.
that
They get
ass,
left-
Tapping that ass.
Exactly.
Tapping that ass. That's what I'm saying.
Pop, 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 pop.
Remember, when you raise that hand, remember, I
Oh.
think that I'm Mike Tyson, just like you think you busted Douglas or one or the other. We just can go at it together. It will
Yeah,
not be no
all
dead
bets are
fool
off.
distress over here.
yeah,
But
all
no,
bets
she's
are
so
off
North
at that
Philly.
point.
She's like, listen, you busted
Uh-uh.
and I'm Mike.
I'm telling you, I'm like, y'all
We
forget.
going at it.
I tell anybody, if you ain't know who my father is, you better go ask somebody. Cause hell, he did
We gonna
not
learn.
raise no child to be sitting there getting beat the hell
Right,
up.
no
You
problem.
okay, all right. Come
He
back with
raised no
something.
sucker. He ain't
Mhm.
raised no
She
sucker.
ain't none. So this is gonna lead us entire episode. Mel, you're gonna take over because now we're gonna woosah. Ooh-la, woosah.
I
Bring
be
it
in
to
my
the
zen.
woosah. We just
This
gonna
is
have
this is a Zen
conversation.
type of episode because I think that you think about being unbothered. Don't everybody want to be unbothered, live in a mindset where
We
things
do.
don't affect you. I mean, because we live in a day-to-day of chaos most of the time. You know what I mean? Even if you don't think about it, don't we live in chaos? Something's always
Yeah.
going on. I
Mhm.
feel like I do. You know,
Uh-huh.
and Mel, before we started, when you asked, I was trying to think, when did I like turn the corner when chaos wasn't, my daily activities? You know what I mean?
Mm.
What doesn't bother me? I don't know, but I know I turned the corner because it doesn't bother me anymore. But
Mhm.
I
so
think there comes
go
a
ahead,
time when we
Mel.
just turn the corner and we just like we're unbothered. Like, everything is, I gotta do this, I gotta do that right. We were just talking about some things that made each one of us have a time frame where we were doing something. I think that being unbothered is something that comes about and it comes with age. What do you think, Celeste? Do you
It
think
definitely
that
comes with
and
age.
I think it comes with age. I remember my mother telling me one day, she was like, oh no, you're gonna come to a point where you're just not gonna care about that. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen because I care about it too much right now. And I think being unbothered makes a difference in how we react to situations, relationships. Let's start there.
Mm,
Dealing with our children,
mm.
Especially.
dealing with anything that we do in life. And I think we need to be unbothered because actually it gives us an opportunity to step back and say, hey, wait a minute. This ain't as important as it's
Mhm.
not as important as you think it is.
Mhm.
So relax for a moment. It's
Yeah.
not that important. And then think about this again and then come back and visit it.
So
What do
to
y'all
me,
think?
yeah, because to me, what you're saying is unbothered is what we were saying about something. It's a choice.
It's
Oh,
a
it's a
choice.
choice.
So
for sure.
unbothered isn't just, oh, it just doesn't affect me and you don't see it or anything. You see it and you choose to not let it get under your skin. You choose for it not to bother you. So it's a choice. So it's a lifestyle, right?
Right.
It's a lifestyle of being unbothered, but we have to make sure that we understand the difference between unbothered and not caring. And
Yeah,
so
there's a difference. There's a
there's a
huge
huge
difference.
difference, right? And so unbothered just means it's not going to get to me. I'm not gonna let it get to me because there are too many other important things that are going on. And this is just minutia, right? It in the
I
bigger
love that
scheme of
minutia.
things, yeah, right?
I
In the
like
big
that.
scheme of things, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Yeah.
mine came over time. Mine started off small, like me being concerned about myself a little bit more, which didn't give me much time to be concerned about other stuff.
Mhm.
Then the health started coming into play when I was going, "Ah," and I was making myself sick. Then the top of the cherry was when the kids got grown and they was like, look, you're gonna have to be here for me at the back end. So don't be bothered about what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna help me fix it. So I save my energy. I'll be like, all right, you gonna jump out the parachute?
Right.
I got the insurance policy here.
Right.
Okay, got the phone numbers to call.
Go to hell, she
I
know her
can't.
cards.
I just can't, I mean, I cannot, I had to save myself from being bothered through the whole thing, then trying to have enough energy to fix things. It was just too much. And I still get it a little bit, but not nearly as much. And Ramel, to your point, something about 50. I was sounding like the old ladies and girl, I don't care about no bill collector, come call me.
None of that, girl, that don't bother me.
Yeah,
have no
it's
bills.
something about the 50 mark, and I think mine is like
Yes.
yours, Celeste. Health issues started to come into play, and you either make a decision that you either are going to become unbothered or you are going to become unhealthy. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
right.
it's a, and when we say that to you, your defense to what you're saying, Chauncey, it is a choice. It's a lifestyle choice because you know if people would just look at me like I'm not, you know, I don't know what the picture of unhealthy is, but hell, I take high blood pressure medicine. I take a statin. You know what I mean? And you know, I have to take these things. I try to treat the doctor and get myself off of it, but that don't work. But I was in a place
He's unbothered.
where I was physically, I know you know what I was over here doing the other day. You know what I mean? Physically, you know, a lot of things that was going on, I could put myself in a place where I was making my own self physically ill. You know what I mean? Worryation is one. You worry over things that you have no way of controlling. And I'll tell you, like my kids is probably one of the biggest things that I worry about because, you know, I just want them to be safe, and you know, that's more of a controlling mindset. I think I'm becoming more unbothered with how they live than I was because I was not doing well with it. And it started
Well,
when
yeah, that's hard because
Yeah.
sexuality with our kids is a hard place to be unbothered.
Yeah, I mean, and it can drive you, but at the end of the day, guess what? I thought about like hell. Remember I was just talking to Mel about this other day. At 17, when I like walked out the door of my parents' house, no one asked me what I was doing at all. And I can't say they didn't care or what was going
Yeah, but
on.
we walked out of our houses. They kind of lingering on.
Yeah, that
These
lingers
mofos-
on. Yeah, that
These
lingers on.
Old
mofos
But-
is
mofos
living
just
in the
want to
house.
go.
Look, they not, if they in the house, they
Plus,
out
two,
in.
Kimmy
you
the
say?
youngest, plus two, Kimmy the youngest of six. They was tired. They
Yeah.
like,
Oh, okay.
"Yeah, right."
You know, my parents was tired. They shut the door. They didn't even look back at the door. They didn't even
Gotta
care if I left the
go.
door open.
No, they became unbothered
Yeah.
as they
They
got
was
older.
unbothered. That should have been their middle name. It was like,
Yeah, that and they saved themselves because they couldn't control all of y'all. It was just too much.
and then I was the last one. I was like, damn, I used to say, damn, do they even care if I came home today? You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But
But
you
do
know,
y'all think that when that happens, that kids start to blame you for not wanting to be involved? When you're
Yeah.
Oh, mine
unbothered?
totally. So I announced at the beginning I'm gonna be a grandma, right? And so the first thing I said, because they just announced it, I was like, I'm gonna be a good grandma this time. Because the other 2 times, I'm gonna tell you right now,
I'm not
I
gonna be
didn't give a
grandma.
blankety blank blank because I wasn't ready to be a grandmother. And I was not going to assume that role with all that pressure
Mhm.
and babysitting and living my no life. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
So I was the money grandma. We need a
Grandma.
babysitter. Oh, too bad for you. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Because-
send you some dollars. You get somebody.
Exactly. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be involved. I was still trying to fix my life and work on myself and love on myself. And I couldn't do both.
Right.
You have
And
to
then-
prioritize what's,
I think they forget that
Yeah.
we
They were
still
mad.
are working on us.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Chauncey? We're still working on us.
we're a constant work in progress, right? And so what happens is our children, when they're adults, benefit from that work in progress because we're better than we were when they were younger because we were so busy trying to establish ourselves when they were small that we were a certain type of parent. And then by the time they became teenagers, depending on what we had going on in our lives, we might have been a little bit more established. So then we were a little bit more hands-on because we didn't have to necessarily work as hard. But it's why we all become such good grandparents because now we are established or where we want to be pretty much. And so then now we see the mistakes that we made. And so when we're offering advice, we're letting them know, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. And they're like, well, that's not what you did when you were the parent. Well, when we know better, we do better, right?
Absolutely.
But the unbothered comes in because when we make that choice, I'm not going there with you. I'm not going
Absolutely.
there with you.
Mhm.
My son raised his voice at me a couple of times one time, and I was like, what?
Who you think you talking to? But I'm not bothered by it because I know
Ooh, that's a
I've
good
done
one.
that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tone. And I tell him all the time, sometimes it's not what you say, it's the tone in which you say it to me. Because
Mm.
when you give birth to me instead of me giving birth to you, you
Uh,
can talk to me like that. You can have that tone. And so, and since that ain't gonna happen, then we know where we at, right?
Well,
So,
I haven't turned that corner yet, I would have to say.
no, because the thing is now they're careful. And just to give you an idea, you all know what recently happened with me with losing my brother and stuff like that. Well, my son, when I got back home this week and he came back home, he just really in a very calm manner said to me, Mom, I really need to say something to you. And I'm feeling some kind of way because I came out there to be support to you. And I lost my uncle like you lost your brother, but I kind of feel like you were really short with me. And he just
And
laid out his feelings. No, seriously.
oh, they do.
He just laid out his
and-
feelings.
and
But he was never disrespectful, but he told me how he felt.
Oh.
And it put me in check. And I let him know that was not my intent. I'm so
Exactly.
sorry. I
Yeah.
apologize. Firstly, I apologize because his feelings are his, and I gotta respect that, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean that was my intent. And so I let him know it wasn't my intent and then why it was that way. And so we were fine after that. But
Yeah.
but he older too, right? Because he 30. And so
Yeah.
when he was 25, he'd have came at me all rah-rah, and then we'd have been battling, right?
Yeah, that would have been time for the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I had that happen to me too. My
Right.
son
That's
did
a
that to me.
delicate, that's a really, I'm glad it turned out like that because that's such a delicate situation. You know what I mean? It's
All
so
the way
fragile and raw now. And, that's hard to even deal with because y'all are in the grieving process and, and it's a good thing that he came in such a respectful manner, you know what I mean? And it's probably a part of his grieving process to be able to say something like that. But I'm glad he said something and he said it in such a kind manner because he has to know that you carry a lot of weight on you now with the
And he did it
relationship you
sooner.
have.
And he did it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because that wouldn't have been good.
That's the other thing, because you can
Something he said
carry
it.
that. and it can turn into something else when you carry it for a long time.
Yeah.
And so me being unbothered in that situation, I could simply say to him, hey, that's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it is. And I'm sorry that it came out that way. It wasn't my intent, but this is what was going on for me. So again, I'm sorry. And, can we, are we good? And we were good. And so unbothered can be a good thing because
Yeah.
then I'm not
I do
all
like it.
in my feelings, right?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I was bothered
exactly
when
what
my
I
son
think.
came to talk to me. I was bothered.
Uh-oh.
I was
I
bothered.
think I think that being unbothered can cause you to listen to other people more intently
Yeah.
and move forward.
And it can help you it can make you
Um,
approach a
but
situation
Celeste,
more
you were
openly.
bothered. So,
What you say?
I
Gotta
think,
do it.
I think it can
that's-
make you
I-
approach a
I
situation
said
more
being under
openly.
yeah, and I think being unbothered can do that. That it makes you be more open.
Yeah, because you don't
But
feel like you
Celeste,
have to be
sound like you were
defensive.
disgusted at first.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I am still developing this, and there's some areas that is just second nature, right?
Mhm.
I have decided that I don't care what people think. I'm wearing my flats because I'm old and I deserve to wear my flats, and used to wear 4 and 5 inch heels and come home feet be tired and stuff. I'm not doing that no more. I'm just not. So I got the nice dress on with the flat shoes on sometime, and I'm just not going to do it. But something about my kids, I had never experienced that before. And he was getting ready to get married, and he pushed me in the car. He took me in the car like your son took you. And he said, Mom, I have to talk to you. And I said, what? He said, I am not a baby anymore. You cannot. And I was thinking, what the fuck you talking to? And let me tell you something. I invited myself to the wedding because you was not going to talk to me like that. I didn't say anything. I came in the house. I told my daughter, I'm not going. Thank you. I don't give a shit. And my daughter let me rock for about 20 minutes. And she says, do you think you're going to live with yourself later on if you don't go? Didn't you give him his own mind and tell him
that's right.
Mine? And I was like, I don't like you either. But I did get past it. And let me just tell you what happened. It's a short story. I went to the wedding. I pouted for a minute. It was beautiful. We had a great time. And after that, he was a little baby boy. He was last. He just needed to get it off his chest. And then he went right to back being the baby all over again. So yeah, I did. I was bothered at first, but I'm practicing. It's getting better.
I think that's what we need to do as parents, is to learn to be more unbothered by the things that kids say to us. I think my kids told me recently, they were talking to me about some shit that was happening when they were young. I was like, ain't you 28? Is we still talking about this shit right now? I'm not bothered by it. Are you? Because you did something that caused me to do something. And I was a reactionary parent. And so I really felt the need to say that, because it forced them to just be like, yeah, she didn't just do that because this was because of something that happened. And so I think it's important for us to just know that we need to be more aware of the space that we're in as the kids mature. Being unbothered develops for us, and they're still gonna be bothered. Now, I ain't gonna lie, they're gonna still be bothered.
They are.
But for us, we can then say, you know what, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, because reaction is everything. I used to tell the kids, you can bring anything to me. Please don't be afraid. You can bring anything to me. One, I'm not going to ever stop loving you. There's nothing you could do that would ever keep me from loving you. Okay. The second thing is, but when you bring it to me, understand that my first reaction might be the reaction of your parent, not your friend.
Right.
You have to allow me that. Allow my first reaction, because I don't know what it's going to be. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that's how I feel. It's just my reaction. And I think we all should be allowed to have that movement, to have what our initial reaction is. It doesn't mean that is etched in stone. It doesn't mean that that's how we are forever and ever. It just means I might have disappointment, I might have hurt, I might have anger. And as long as it's not a physical reaction to you, allow me to have that first initial reaction. Now I can think, now we can put our heads together, now we can figure something out, but still bring it to me. Don't ever feel like there's nothing that you can't bring to me. And even being disappointed should not be a fear of yours that I'm going to have. We'll deal with that when that comes, but still come to me.
Mhm.
So let me throw
I gotta
another.
say
Let
that
me throw,
Chauncey,
let me throw
you
another.
like Fight Club mom right now.
So let me
Uh-huh.
throw another topic
Very
out here
cute.
for y'all, because when we think about unbothered, okay, because we talk about unbothered with children, and we touched on relationships, but unbothered and you've been betrayed.
Ooh,
Hmm.
fuck you.
Wait, I'm feeling that. Best friend.
I guess ain't nobody gonna sit up in here and say they
Can't-
passed. Okay,
that's a
I'm just
hard one.
saying you've been betrayed, and I'm
a
saying
hard one.
betrayal could be on multiple levels. So you know, how do you become unbothered when you've been betrayed? Because you have to become unbothered when you become betrayed, because you can't stay in that space. You
Well,
can't.
I recently told somebody that was like, I'm not your side bitch. Now, I'm not his main bitch, but I ain't your motherfucking side bitch. Ain't. And he was like, wait, what, huh? You're not my main bitch, but you're not my side bitch. I had to be unbothered in my feelings. I had to decide where I was gonna be. Like, I had to pick a side. I'm not gonna be mad because you're doing this. I'm not gonna be mad because you're doing that. I felt a kind of way at one point, but I'm not gonna do certain things.
So
I'm
did you
gonna
have
be
to,
like
did you have
crazy.
to, did you have to acknowledge the pain, or did you just,
I did, but I was still unbothered. I was just like, I'm not gonna do the extra because there was no commitment.
so you recognize what it is. So, and then
Oh
you
yeah, I
just,
recognize what it is, but I ain't your side bitch, motherfucker.
okay.
Just saying.
Celeste.
I think I have the same thing. So
Okay.
mine sounds a little different. So because I'm into this whole trying to be self-love, right?
Mhm.
I do a lot of, so say somebody betrays me, I'll do something like, well, that's who they are. And I'm supposed to respect who everybody is. And it's just not what I prefer. I don't like that.
Okay.
And I'm going to move myself out of the situation because obviously that's how you rock and that's not how I rock. So I'm not even going to be bothered by it, but I protect myself. Does that make sense?
Well, how do you
So-
protect yourself? Because you already have experienced their betrayals. Well, how do you protect yourself?
You talking about a guy? Because you know I cut him off like a ham sandwich.
Oh God.
But I'm saying or I disconnect, which is bad. I could still be in that, like almost like Ramela said, I could almost be in that relationship
Mhm.
and I'm totally cut off, like I'm numb from the neck up, and that's not
Okay.
good. So I do a lot of protecting. I don't know whether I got the art of being unbothered as much as I got of being protecting myself.
Okay.
So I think that's what goes on with me most of the time. But
Okay. So Chauncey,
yeah.
betrayal.
Well, what makes that one a loaded question for me is what we define betrayal as.
Okay.
Betrayal is a very strong word for me.
Okay.
And I can say that I've been disappointed by people and people have made me angry, but I don't really think I've been betrayed.
Okay.
So I have to start from that concept, right? So as far as being unbothered by someone who has hurt me,
Mhm.
I think it kind of leads to what we were talking about earlier about like infidelity and stuff.
Right.
In a couple, I think that you can come back from it. You can come back from being hurt from someone and you can be unbothered. It's like having those family members who have hurt you and you still have them in your life. You just deal with them in a certain type of way.
Right.
So
Ah,
that's being
long
unbothered,
spoon.
right? So you don't get my vulnerability anymore, but we cool.
Mhm.
You just don't get my vulnerability anymore. So then therefore that's my unbothered. You know what I'm saying? So I had you
Love
here
that,
and we
Chauncey.
were
Love that.
cool. Yeah, we were cool. And then now you've done a few things, or I might have done a few things to you, whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna meet you where you at, right? But we just gonna stay there. It don't mean I'm mad. I don't have no ill will towards you, nothing like that. But now I'm unbothered. But like I
In
said,
Ramel's words, we don't give a fuck.
we don't. But it is a difference, like we said before, between unbothered, not caring, and indifference. So what I had to learn even on my spiritual walk, that indifference is just the biggest sin as hate.
Right.
You can't be lukewarm. You got to be on one side or the other. And so being unbothered means that, again, I've forgiven you, we've moved on and we've moved past it, but you won't be able to do that to me again.
Nah, ninny, nanny, no.
You see what I mean? That
Look
don't
at
mean I don't
Celeste, she
care.
like,
Yeah.
Ninny, nanny, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no,
isn't that a piece though? Isn't that a piece? Can't we agree that's a piece?
Oh, it's absolutely is.
unbothered is a
piece.
peace offering. It's but for yourself.
yeah, for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. Yeah, it's all about what's better for me and my well-being and
Absolutely.
my sanity.
It's a
Absolutely.
choice.
I
You
mean,
just
do we think it's not a problem to and I say this, I put this in, I put this in the on the page all the time, I throw a little curse words in there here and there because people like, my grandma used to say a curse word is another slang word. But it's
For
all
the
about,
intelligent.
yeah, it's all about people taking care of themselves, knowing when to say when, really it is. When to say when to let it go. You carrying a burden of something that's really not your burden to carry, if you let it go, you become unbothered by it, you move on in life. That doesn't mean you sitting near reminiscing on what that person did or what that situation is. That means that you come to the agreement of what has happened and you move forward. Isn't that the meaning of being unbothered by it? I mean,
right, like you said,
believe
it's peace, right?
peace.
It's a peace that
just
we
like
have.
you said, Chauncey.
that-
A lot of people I see sit in their face and be like, "Hey, I'm good, I'm cool with you, but oh, you won't be doing that crap to me again."
Exactly. And then being able to tell somebody, they go, "Girl, I thought we was cool." I said, "No, we
Right.
wasn't cool from that last time. You remember? I
What's
will
the
never be
saying?
telling you nothing again."
What's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you.
Exactly.
Fool me
Twice.
twice,
Shame
shame
on
on
me.
me. And so
I remember walking through, I remember being at work and there was a girl who would come in, she was a charge nurse and she would come in early. And I just was like, good morning. And I just was, I was mad. I was at the end of my shift. And she just looked at me. I said, oh, that should have never happened again. And you know what? I didn't have any feeling in my heart about it. I wasn't in my mind about it. I wasn't anything where I was just unbothered. I just recognized who she was and what I was not going to do ever again. I wasn't going to fuck with her no more. I wasn't going to say good morning because I know my mother, well, maybe not my mother, but my grandmother or my aunt taught me when you enter a room, you say hello.
right.
Absolutely. That is a pet peeve of mine. And maybe I'll never be unbothered by that because that right there, that kind of like strikes me like, ew.
But that's home training, so it shouldn't
'Cause
even
I
bother
don't
you.
understand
You ain't got
that.
to go home training.
You shouldn't even, it shouldn't even bother you. You should go like this in your mind, girl. They ain't got a home training. And keep on going.
I don't know
Unbothered.
because like I can't fathom that, it doesn't take nothing from you to just say hello.
Say
You know
good
what I mean?
morning. She
Mhm.
literally
Mhm.
turned the corner and looked dead in my eyes. And I said, good morning. And she looked at me like she didn't hear me. And I was just like, oh. And I said out loud as I would have said good morning back again. Oh, that'll never happen again. That made me unbothered. Sometimes being unbothered is just like that. Just taking back your power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, you know what my first thing that I practiced with on being unbothered was saying no. And not just
Yeah.
saying no, not just saying no. Do not go, no, I can't do it because I got to go 2 days. And
No
no,
explanation.
No.
let's go and no. And waiting, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is
Ask
so
you a question
cool.
about
I'm not
it.
going to say nothing.
That takes a lot to get to there. That takes a lot to get there.
It
I had
was
that
so
problem.
hard.
Cool.
Well, I'm a
So then-
talker anyway, so I'm used to going, and I just said no. And my daughter was like, what?
So then if we have to start to quantify when we
Right.
became unbothered. So for me, in my professional life, I became unbothered right around somewhere between 33 and 35, right? And I realized then I don't owe them an explanation.
Don't.
Like Celeste was just saying, hello, I'm not able to come in today. I'm not feeling well.
Mm.
Oh, well, what's
Well,
wrong?
what do you have? A cough? Do you have a
I don't
dizzy?
need to tell you that. I got time, so I'm not coming in today.
Leave
Click.
me alone.
Mhm.
Now,
I know that's
when you
right,
come
girl.
back and you're like, oh, is everything okay? Everything's fine. I'm feeling better. Well, what was the problem? Now, if I choose to tell you, is one thing. But for you to ask me, no.
And that's illegal. Not
'Cause
to,
I'm not-
to
I
ask
was
me
about
that.
to say, isn't that illegal that they
It's
even ask
illegal.
that?
No, y'all, it's illegal now. I said when I was
Hell.
33 to 35, it wasn't illegal then, right?
It ain't none of their motherfucking business nowhere.
So, but what I'm saying is that because sometimes in some settings, I've seen my kids when they work certain jobs and stuff like that, they're so used to doing that with teenagers and with young people, and that's their way of trying to intimidate them.
Intimidate them.
That you get into a certain mindset, and then when it dawned on me one day, like, I don't owe you that. I don't need to
Not
tell
at
you.
all.
I got time on the books. I don't need an explanation
right.
as long as I'm giving
But-
you the proper notice.
But it's a habit because it's respectful when you go, no, I can't make it because I have a prior engagement. Instead of
Okay.
going, no, you coming to my party now.
People
That shit feel
expect
good.
more.
I feel good.
It does. It does.
I
And if
cannot
you
stand
think
so
about
much
it,
like
it
that shit
takes
feel
it,
good.
it makes you
does.
it makes you retain your power because you're not selling yourself over to someone else. You don't feel like you have to barter, steal, and make someone else feel more happier than yourself.
Yes.
You think about it. After giving somebody else all of your power, then you try to regain it back. That is a lot of effort. That's a
Mhm.
lot
Let's
of
be
effort.
unbothered.
Being
on a regular
unbothered
basis.
It's a hell of a feeling. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Now you think about it, we all can sit here and raise our hand, becoming in this mindset that we're in, because we know we still have some trials and tribulations that we go through, but for the most part, we talk frequently and we're unbothered by majority of things. We're not fucked over by men. We don't give a shit about women getting on our nerves. If your job is getting on your nerves, you know what? We're too seasoned to be on a job that's going to be like, oh, you're not going to screw me over, because guess what? There's a lot of jobs out there. And we
I'm
got a
trying
lot
not to
of
walk
people
out right now.
So, saying that, you know what I'm saying, Celeste.
No,
You
I'm
know,
really trying not to walk out my job right now. Like I was agreeing with you.
That's what I'm saying, because when you feel like you don't want to be bothered with that job, you will be unbothered with that job, and you will walk away from it if it becomes a point of contention for you. You won't stay there, because you know that you have enough education and skills that you don't have to stay there. So I know that of you, and I know that about you. So I'm not even worried about that. You right now getting acclimated to it, so you're still in that part of it. Once you get past that, you'll be running in those people and getting them in tip-top shape. A lot of times these agencies need people like you, so they gotta get acclimated to you. But that's a whole nother episode. But
girl, when I tell you I am so unbothered, I was just talking to a girl today, and we were talking about something and blah blah blah. When it comes to this and this and that, I said, "Oh, girl, if I go there, I'm gonna get fired." And she was like, "Why you say that?" I said, "Because I'm gonna say what I say, because I am unbothered. I don't care." This is what it is. This is just what it is. And the more we let stress mess with us, the faster we die. And what they gonna do? They gonna hire you. They ain't worried about me
and put them in the
and
chair.
the next one.
Yeah, and sit
Okay.
there quiet, and the
And
other
so
person's gonna sit in there and get paid, and you're gonna be taking a dirt nap.
And that's what I say to them. when they say, Ramel, you gonna take 6 patients, I say, that's what I'm not gonna do. Ain't gonna do that. And they'd be like, yeah, this is how we do it. Like, I'll never forget this nursing director. She was the CNO of the hospital. And she was like, I was like, and my first day, I hadn't even onboarded yet. And she was like, I was like, so how many patients do we normally get? She was like, we normally take 6. I was like, ain't never gonna do that. And the other girl that was sitting in the room with me was like, oh, bitch, you get ready to go home. And I was like, I'm not. Because I'm telling you up front, I'm not gonna do it. Because what she was doing was trying this, and I was unbothered. I didn't say it in a mad way. I didn't say it in a mean way. I just said it in a regular tone. I'm not
In a matter
bothered
of
by
fact
that shit.
way.
I'm not gonna do it.
Mhm.
And you
Very
know what?
matter of
You'll
fact.
be able
There
to
you go.
change. You'll be able to change the culture in jobs like that because they're
Change
used
the
to
culture.
seeing how they're gonna bamboozle the next person, and
And the
that's where,
treatment.
yeah, that's
Knowing
how
your
it starts.
wealth,
And the
knowing your
treatment.
worth, knowing your
Knowing
worth.
your worth. If I'm
Yeah.
not gonna take
Mhm.
6 motherfucking patients, I'm not doing that. No,
Mhm.
ma'am. I told you that today, and she glazed over it like it didn't happen and asked if I ever took 6 patients. Thank you, no.
So
So I was unbothered.
I think that Mel, I think that this was a really good episode. Unbothered. I can't wait till people hear this because I think it's more of coming in touch with yourself to know
Absolutely.
what is we haven't touched on what bothers us because it's irrelevant. Becoming unbothered is the most important aspect of this episode. Being able to relate to letting go, you know what I mean? Being able to say, it's not important anymore. I'm putting myself first. I am
Mm.
here to deal with whatever, but I'm not holding on to anything. I'm good with this and I'm walking away from it and leaving that right over there. That garbage, that trash, that issues, those drama, that bullshit, that's all over there. And I'm so unbothered. That's right, Chauncey. Just wipe it off. I'm
Brush
so
your shoulders off.
unbothered. Don't you get a different kind of vibe with yourself?
Blaze
You
the
can sit
song,
up
right?
there, cross your legs, and just be
Shoulders
looking
off.
at the person like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Not even care. It's not an issue anymore. We don't even have to have a debate or conversation about it because it's
That's what's
irrelevant.
unbothered. We don't have to have a conversation about it. This is what affects me. No conversation.
No
Done.
conversation. It's irrelevant. We don't need to make it even a topic.
Mhm.
We don't even have to make it a
But
topic.
can I tell you that it started with, and I'm gonna pull my curtain back so you can see. When I first started being unbothered, it wasn't I was unbothered. It was more I was trying to set boundaries with other people.
Right.
So I really, really wanted to do it, but I had to force myself to go, no, this is not healthy. You're not going to be stressed about this. You're going to pretend not to be bothered by it
Right.
until it became a habit. And that's how I got to where I'm at now. But at first, it was rough. I wanted to do the 6 patients because I could. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that that's not how I
But
felt.
Celeste,
That's not my worth.
You're right. You're right. You have to fake it till you make it sometimes.
I had to fake it. I had to fake it.
Even
When I
with
told my daughter
unbothered, you have to
no,
fake it.
at 18, I told her no. And when she said what she said to me, I cracked up laughing. She says, I never heard you say no. And I'm like, that's crap. She says, Mom, you've never said no. I said, what do you mean? She said, you say no, not today. No, wait till your birthday. No, maybe on Christmas. No, maybe tomorrow. But you've never gone no and just did like this. What? In 18 years, she had never heard that. So
Great
people know
man.
that they can ask us shit and we fuss for a minute and we still do it.
You know what my mother used to say? You teach people how to treat you.
You sure do. And when I
Yep,
say
you
no, they
sure
don't even
show
ask
'em.
me no more, Chauncey. They go like this. Don't ask her because something wrong with her. I be like, no.
I be like,
Hell
okay.
no. To the no, no, no. Hell no.
That's Bishop Bullwinkle.
And I really be faking myself out because I really do want to help them, but I just do the whole dramatic thing and they go, forget it. Don't ask her shit.
Well, I
Don't
have
ask.
loved you guys. I have loved being a part of this concept of, look, we're not gonna oh hell, I forgot what the hell the concept was.
So my question is now,
We're not.
and we can talk about it really quick in the after show. Unbothered, just to sum it up, to go around.
That part, because I'm always unbothered, so I forget.
That's a good thing, now, because guess what? Hopefully you'll live long and be unbothered. That's the goal.
Mhm.
I just want to, close it out and get everybody's last thoughts on being unbothered. I think this was a really good episode. I think we touched on a lot of things that if people don't know what the feeling of unbothered is, because I think that in this day and age, and Celeste, you probably can hit on this topic too. We talk a lot about doing self-care. But if you're doing self-care and you got all these other isms and things going on, aren't you just practicing a routine? Or, you're not really addressing letting go things that take care of the self to make you healthy and whole. And I think being unbothered is really a big attribute to self-care.
Absolutely.
Because it takes care of the
Absolutely.
being of the mindset of being able to be in a, not just in a mental, but in a spiritual mindset of stability. You know what I mean? You gotta release. You release all of the energy that is not really good for your growth. You know what I mean? And sometimes even people that, I could say, some family members are not good for your growth. They gotta go. You know what I mean? They gotta go. Co-workers and stuff, family members, friends, you know what I mean? Hell, sometimes goddamn husbands, they gotta go too. You know what I mean? If they not good for your soul, they gotta go, And at the end of the day, you ain't gotta be hating on them. It don't have to be combative. You can just be so unbothered with the situation and be good with it and know that you're in a good space. But that's my feel on it. Who's next?
Unbothered for me is just being all about me, because if I'm not about me, I can't pour into you. Bottom line, I can't pour into anybody else. I can't pour into my kids, my family, or anything else. And so if I have a man that's with me and he just don't care and he's not in the right space, ooh, that's ugly. So we got issues there. But just for me to be unbothered, I feel like I need to be able to pour into myself and pour into my friends and family and then move forward. And continually, because that's important, because we say our cup runneth over, but sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Right.
But if you pour into yourself continually, you will have that opportunity to pour out to the kids, like Celeste, for you and your daughter and what have you.
For me, I think it is unbothered is making that choice to not let it get to me.
Absolutely.
Just making a choice that, you know what, I'm not doing this. And
I know that's right.
You got it. You know what I mean? Whoever you got it, or
it's all on you.
Whatever that situation is, you know what? Okay, I'm just not. I don't have to deal with it right now. Everything doesn't have to be addressed. Every comment doesn't need a comment.
That's a good one.
Statement doesn't need a response. And so I choose to be unbothered.
It's a choice. I got you.
That's a good one. All right. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed it. So we'll just talk about what we
Ramel,
did.
thank you. Because that just I never even thought of it in that way. But yeah.
Me either. It was Mel's idea. I never thought of it, but I thought it was a good and actually I think this episode needs to come out sooner than later, because when I say that the holidays are not always a good time for people. You know what I mean? And people get so stressed and so uptight during the holidays over things that some of it, majority of it, you can't really control. And I'm not talking about not family members not being around, but I'm talking about just the noise moving of the holidays. And some things you got to just learn to move it out and move away from it and just do you. You see what I'm saying? And the
Can I
holidays
ask
is
one
not
last
always good for
question?
people.
I want to ask one last question of Celeste. I know that she had a substantial amount to say about being unbothered, but what is your final thought on being unbothered, like during the holiday?
You threw the monkey wrench in that one. You said that during the
Don't do
holiday.
it, girl.
But
Don't do it, girl.
in general, I was going to speak to the fact that, my issue started as being codependent. So my issue was I wanted to be everything for everybody. And it was making me really, really sick and emotional, but I wasn't getting it back. Now, how you going to try to be everything for everybody and then you mad because they can't give you nothing? Because I was a magnet to those people who needed stuff. They ain't have nothing to give, no support, no nothing. So, I was always going to be drained. But during the holiday, we have so many of the expectations that are unrealistic, like they like really unrealistic. Like, okay, this is a crazy example, but like with the kids during the holiday, we would spend all of this money, and in January, we'd be looking at each other looking for peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Paying all these bills.
We have to be realistic in the fact that, we have to make better choices now. We have to be, don't be bothered by what everybody else has or what people think or what people would say. You have to take care of yourself. Self-preservation. That's what I think. Self-preservation during a holiday, when it's not a holiday, you have to make sure you are taking care of yourself first and foremost, and then you can be available for everybody else.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Amen to that.
Well,
All right. So I think y'all summed it up. So
I'm being unbothered.
yeah, I've been unbothered the whole episode. I had a little one. Just a little scoop.
I'm so done. First of all, I'm done with Celeste with the big bottle.
It's the
But Kim,
airplane
you got the
alcohol
little
for
nip
me.
bottle.
It's a little small,
I said it's the airplane alcohol.
Chauncey looking like a gangster over here.
Hard cider.
Done.
I can't wait till people
you,
see. They're gonna be like, "What is going on with them? Hats on their head and rings."
We the Yorktown Crips.
We the
Oh wow, y'all, yeah, the
Walking
red
to
and the
the
black.
Yorktown Crips.
I just came because I came from outside. I just said, let me run in here, but I ain't want to have to comb my head. But all right,
Mine is on because I didn't feel like combing mine.
I ain't want to comb it, so it's like the hat will do. It's winter time, so you can get away with it.
It's been a good conversation, ladies. I
don't
really
mean
appreciate
to be giving out no free advertising, but I just have to.
All right, so until next Wednesday, we will do this again. Check us out on our social media page, Let's Chit Chat Sis, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again. I am your girl, Kimmy.
I'm Chauncey.
I'm Ramel.
Alas.